Mine's live.
All right.
Mine's live too. Okay, cool.
I think I'm live. Maybe I'm live. Wait, I've got no.
4 hours later,
no,
we
wait.
got this.
I think I'm live.
Let me see. I'm gonna double check mine real quick, and I should be all good.
100% live. It's just a black screen I'm seeing now. It's fine
Yeah,
by
yeah,
me.
we'll come.
What's crazy is I am actually not live. Okay.
Tyler the creator. Let's
The
go, yo.
leader.
Oh, Contrix. What's good? What's good?
Hold
bro?
on. I'm trying to get this thing going. I think my stream key might have been off. Let's see.
Because you're too
You're
busy
live.
trying to fix mine.
Yeah, Contrix. It's hard for me, man.
Copy.
Well, welcome to everyone in my chat here. We like tripled as soon as we started. We were so delayed. We had like 40 people in here. Now it's 120 in a minute.
Can everyone
Okay.
can everyone on my stream hear what's happening? Just let me know in the chat that you can hear these guys, because this was tough. This was tough. This was tough.
I blame myself for that.
This should be live.
Oh yeah, so we got to
Should
look.
be.
We got to look at. I got to look there. No,
Oh,
this,
there we go.
this is terrible.
Got it. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Did you get it, Tyler?
Yeah, we are all good.
Okay, sweet.
Woo. Man, it has been quite the last hour. We've been at this for literally an hour trying to get everything set up. We were 100% determined that we were ready, and then we were not indeed ready. But all right, everybody, I know we have a lot of people in my stream right now. So what is up, everyone? We're here with Sam from My Financial Friend, the boy, Conor Kenny, and Stephen Clark. What's up, guys? What is going on?
Nice to be here. A pleasure. An odyssey, but a pleasure.
Agreed. Yeah. Pretty excited to talk some crypto here today, some stocks and other stuff too.
This has been definitely one of the hardest things us people have done in our whole careers. So hopefully you guys like it.
I was talking to Tyler about this yesterday because he was trying to help me set it up. And there's so many layers to it you guys don't understand. Like everyone watching this, there's like different software you need to use, and it really felt like a school project. Like you'd have to set this up for like a week in school, and you'd just be stressed out the whole week trying to figure it out. But it's all done now.
Yeah.
So crazy. I've solved Rubik's cubes faster than I solved.
That took us. It took us exactly 2 hours to get this set up.
Yeah, absolutely. I could have flown to Tyler's house in Louisiana and been there faster and had him set it up for me, as opposed to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it though. We made it. I think next time we'll definitely be ready. Come 11 o'clock for sure.
Next time, maybe I'll have a thumbnail, but I don't want to hope too.
Don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
man.
Let's talk about Safe Moon, guys. It's been insane.
Yeah.
Safe Moon
Ridiculous.
today is ripping.
Yeah. What are we? Okay, so this is a question I've been getting a lot that I'm curious about your thoughts on, and we have not talked about any of this beforehand. So I hope you guys are excited about this.
Don't try to put me on the spot.
One thing that people are talking to me like they think that Dogecoin is playing a big factor. Like the Saturday Night Live with Elon, they think it's moving like the whole market right now, and I don't know. You know, I think that's why Dogecoin's moving a lot. But
It's
do we
definitely
think Safe Moon is
It's definitely
moving?
affecting Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm not a financial advisor or anything like that. We're just a moron.
Yeah.
We can't set up a live stream
Let's
and
all
a
say
Zoom
it.
call at the same time.
Let's all say
But,
that. I'm not a financial advisor. If anyone's
Me
watching,
neither.
Yeah.
just a guy in his room who doesn't know what he's talking about. So don't forget, all right? Don't you forget out there.
Yeah. So I think the whole crypto market's kind of booming. I mean, I've been watching the penny stock market for months now, like pretty heavily investing in it. And I think just a lot of people are excited about crypto that used to be in penny stocks.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin and Ethereum used to be like the crazy thing. If you really wanted to like throw your money on black, you'd put it in Ethereum or Bitcoin or maybe a penny stock. Now Bitcoin and Ethereum are too safe, so you're going to altcoins that no one's heard of.
For sure.
It's like, and it's even riskier than penny stocks in my mind if you're not doing your due diligence, because there's not necessarily the company behind it. A lot of the time, there's not the management team, there's not the SEC guidelines and stuff like that. So I think we're seeing just a lot of people moving over, money into crypto right now that we didn't see before. So the whole tide's rising, but SafeMoon obviously is just killing it on like every front, media wise.
Yeah, I totally think that people don't put enough credit on the fact that it's the same people, right? Because like we're the kind of people that invest in penny stocks, but we're also the kind of people that are invested in these smaller altcoins, right? So for sure, it has an impact. The moving of the money has a complete impact.
I mean, I even noticed it myself with my viewership, right? Because if you go back in my channel 3 months, I was like more specifically penny stocks, and even my subscribers then were like, talk about altcoins, talk about crypto, talk about this. So, I mean, the people who wanted to see penny stocks, it seems like the majority of them want to see crypto now. You know what I mean? It's that same like that feeling of adrenaline whenever you see a penny stock just like at 0.0004 and it shoots up to like 3 cents.
Well,
I think it's a big move.
Yeah, what's wild about the scene now is that people are so used to seeing like 100% in a day, right? Like if you come from stocks first, you come over to the hype coin world and you're like, yeah, this is incredible. Like I'm making like however, like, you know, today I got some XRP, right? We had a dip last night. I got some XRP and it's up, I think 4% or 5% in a, like, you know, on the day. That is an incredible return. Do you know what I mean? That's an incredible return. But it's like people refer to these hype coins as staying stagnant when they only move 30% in a day. They're like, oh, nah, SafeMoon's been boring today. It's only gone up, you know, 35%. And I'm like, no, that is loads. That is loads.
Yeah, that's like 3 years return in an index in a couple hours.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just with like people need to appreciate like that we're in a crazy time, right? And not to like consider this the norm, because this is not the norm.
No, not at all. And that's the thing. Like, so as someone, I started off, I'm sure you know who Andre Jick is. He's the guy who kind of got me into this whole, right? I watched him kind of just to get an idea of what I wanted to do. And he was big into dividends and everything, right? So I look at dividends now and like you tell someone, yeah, dude, you can make 4% every single year. They would look at you so dumb now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know. I feel weird still because I still do a lot of dividend investing and everything. And I catch myself personally. I'm like, man, I'm getting paid, what, 1% every quarter, bro? I'm just going to put it all in SafeMoon. You know what? It's all good.
Not financial advice.
I don't even look at Robinhood anymore. You know, like why even look at Robinhood? Like there's nothing good there. There's nothing exciting. Like all those growth stocks are just tanking right now. So like it's just like you want some growth. You want to see some positive, you know, growth on your money, and it's just where the crypto is now.
Even SPACs are dead basically now. They're not doing so well. Like it's wild how quickly that market changed, right?
And it is different too, because I mean, I go through this constant battle where I'm like, oh, I should be investing more in crypto, even though it's already a large allocation. But I think, okay, like some of these stocks are down so much. Like even NNDM, which people thought was like all hype, it almost trades for its cash value right now. Like there's barely any risk. Like SPACs are under net asset value, and they're going to merge with good companies. They're not moving. So I go through this constant battle where I'm like, okay, invest like $3,000 into stocks and like 1,000 in crypto, just because there's that asymmetric risk reward right now in some of these stocks, which there's so much upside in crypto, but there's also the downside too. And in some of these stocks, they're just so low still.
Yeah.
Well, that's the weird thing with with me, and I've talked about it on my channel before, is like, so my allocation right now is like 90% long-term blue chip, whether it be stocks or cryptos. I guess like me and Connor always joke because we say like Ethereum and Bitcoin are safe now, but like I put in like the safer cryptos, and then 10% into like the SafeMoons, the bonfires, the happy coins. Shout out my happy squad. All of those. And dude, my 10% is outperforming my 90% right now. And I'm like, no, like this is not the example I want to set. You know what I mean? Because I always preach in my Patreon. I'm like, we got to make sure we're building up our long-term portfolios. But then it's hard for me to justify it because the 10% is moving so much right now. But it doesn't last forever, you know, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Just in general, like for a lot of people who are so like got so used to like 100% gains in a week. If you don't go up 100% in a week right now, like you're not doing something.
100% a day or nothing.
Right. So we'll see where this goes. But
on the allocation side of things, like I started, I guess, halfway. When did this bull run start for crypto? Probably like the start of this year, maybe the end of last year, right? Like Yeah, and like so I started the year like my allocation on the stock side of things was probably what 80% of my portfolio was in stocks. You know, some in like the safe ones, some in the SPACs, like, but 80%, I was like 20%, maybe even less, like 10% in crypto. And then without adding any more money in, I'm probably around 20% stocks and 80% crypto now. Like, and that's with no more of my own personal money going into the market. I still add money into my what's it called in England? We got a free tax account. Anyway, my tax account in England, I still add money to that every month, but I add nothing to crypto, and there's just no comparison. So it's wild. It's wild.
So with it being up so much now, so everyone kind of talks about like the crypto winter, and we all know that some type of big drawback will come eventually, right? What's your game plan? Because I know some YouTubers, they're like, I don't think it was BitBoy Crypto. It was someone on his stream said like, yeah, I'm gonna pull out all of my crypto in like November or something like that. Are you planning on just like holding tight for the winter and just hoping for the best, or are you gonna try to start taking profits? They're talking.
I know BitBoy Crypto. He's always saying September, right, because of the stock to flow model, and it's like buy the rumor, sell the news, right? What I'm thinking with that whole model is we're gonna, like, before you had buy the rumor, sell the news, right? And people sold the news a few hours before the news, or maybe even a day. But now we're seeing people trying to cheat buy the rumor, sell the news by selling like 2 days before, right? So I think we're gonna see that in maybe weeks or months, that people are gonna start preempting the sell-off of crypto, like the stock to flow model. They're gonna start preempting it, right? So I don't think blindly following a model as to when something's going to crash is a good idea. But on my cash out plan, it's changing daily. It's changing daily because the amount of money is changing daily, right? Like I think today it's like 5% up on my whole portfolio, like a whole portfolio, right? It's wild. And so like my major goal is to have 50%, I think 50% in a stable coin, USDT, Binance USD, so BUSD, something like that, 50%, and then 50% in what I would consider, you know, safe cryptos. I don't like to say that, but, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, something like that, right? I'm going to close every one of my hype coin positions, every one of my lower down altcoin positions, unless some of those coins in this bull market show me some reason to believe that they're not going to crash. But I've said it 1,000 times on my channel, but I had the most belief ever in ICX, and I still do now, but it doesn't mean I didn't lose 95% of all of my portfolio because of that coin, right? So it's like, so have as much.
What did you like about that coin? What was that? What did you really like about that? What spoke to you?
Back then, it was the idea of an ecosystem, right? So pretty much what Ethereum is doing, that's the same thing as what ICX is trying to do. It's like it's a platform with an ecosystem. And back 4 years ago, that wasn't something that everyone was trying to do, right? And like they have connections with the government in Korea and things like that. And that is what really stood out to me about it. Like all of these different ideas. And still to this day, they're like that. They're like, in my opinion, they're completely undervalued. But yeah, even with that sort of belief, because I know that's that sort of conviction that I felt in 2017 is the same conviction I see people feeling for SafeMoon, right? And I'm not bashing that. I love that. I'm glad that like the community is so convicted, but that doesn't mean, even with conviction, that the price isn't going to go down, right? That's my view on it. It doesn't, like, no matter how good the project is, if you're in it for money, then the money's probably going to go down at some point, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I was the same way, like even in the stock market itself, you know, because like I'm like, when I tell you I'm a Tesla fanboy, like a Tesla fanboy, I'm not going to show you the Tesla poster on my wall, but just no, it's there.
I'll go on. Show it in the back.
So the thing about it is, like, even with Tesla, right? We saw the rise of Tesla was absolutely ridiculous at one point, right? And even when we were up there, I was looking at it like I was blatantly saying in my head, like, this thing is not going to maintain these levels. And I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then next thing you know, 30% drop over the span of 2 months. And like, I'm looking at it like, man, I just lost out on like 5K, 6K in profits. I'm just like, and this thing. So now I've gotten to the point, like I say it in streams, and I tell people like, it just because you love it doesn't mean it's going to go up. You know what I mean? So
it's also not money. It's not money until you sell it. It's just numbers on a page.
That's one of my favorite quotes. My favorite quotes is, "It's not a loss until you sell." So that's
yeah, totally.
Live my life there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you're convicted in something, right, and it goes down, depending on the reason it's going down. If it's going down for no reason, then I would, in my opinion, I'd be holding it, right? If nothing fundamental has changed, I'm still going to be holding it. So.
Right.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm not very invested in all the altcoins. Like I have some Cardano, I have a couple other ones too, a small allocation, but as long as I'm still making like decent money and the crypto market comes, if we get up to like 10,000 Ethereum or 150,000 Bitcoin, I might consider taking some off the table. But even then, those I think will have so much ownership and be so diversified that I don't think we're gonna see a sell-off in those necessarily. And I haven't been through a crypto winter, so I'm probably not the best person to ask, but I would rather just shove more money in there. If Ethereum falls back down to 3K after 10K, I'd be pretty excited about that. I think after feeling the FOMO for months that we had 3K right now, and then we go up to 10K, I'd be pissed off, and then I'd be super pumped when it falls to 3.
Yeah.
And I'm at the same point too. Like when it comes to just my cryptos in general, the more established ones, right? Because we saw what's happened with Bitcoin. Like I think Bitcoin's a good example of what a crypto's capabilities are. Not that they can all go to 60K, you know what I mean? But just what the capabilities are in the sense that it'll be doing well. Then we have a kind of like a winter, a big pullback, and it'll fall, but it can still recover that and then grow again. So I think like with me personally, unless I'm just up substantially, kind of like Sam said, like if we see Ethereum at like 10K, I'll probably consider trimming. But even then, like I'd probably just want to go even heavier in, because my anticipation is that even if we see it fall, there's no reason that it can't recover dramatically. It may take 18 months, but I look at it from my perspective of being 19. I'm like, I have a lot of time. You know what I mean? Like I'm not worried about it. And so I
have a few years left. So Conor has a few years left. So we have to be really careful with that.
Yeah. This is probably our last bull market we'll be around for.
Our last winter. So we have to really kind of take note and appreciate it. But that actually is really an interesting point though, Tyler, about like the different allocations of risk level per age too. And that's something that I haven't really talked about on my channel a lot, but it's such an interesting concept about being, heavier risk portfolio skewed, as you're young, and then kind of dollar cost averaging out or whatever as you get older. And as priorities change, they have that certain metric and formula. Kind of when you look at stocks and look at the stock market, they have that bond versus equity kind of formula you're supposed to have. And I think it'd be worth, thinking about and putting it out there, one kind of almost in the crypto space for everybody, like I think that's something that's really cool. Me personally, I love being, and I talked about this in a recent video. I think I said yesterday they all start to blur together. So I don't know. It could be in the last 24 hours. Maybe it was 7 months ago. I have no idea. But I talked about it somehow about how I love to be super conservative in about half my portfolio. Like I'm talking about, real estate and stuff like that. And then I just love to be risky as hell with the other one. And that works for me because I love being absolutely risky. Some people don't like that. They like a little bit like 80%, moderate or whatever, then 20% risky. I love like a 50% risky, just go wild and crazy, and then a 50% like ultra conservative. So that works for me. But also, I got to start thinking about retirement, homes, and
wheelchairs.
I guess, and my model's kind of changing a little, risk management wise, because I came up with the 90-10 for myself personally. Because whenever I started investing, like I would have to go through like, what are those brokerage accounts that your parents have to make? Well, we had one of those. I can't remember the name.
Custodial, is it?
And it's, yeah. And I was like 16, 17. And so I came up with 90-10 because at the time I was generating like 10% returns every year. So in my head, I was like, well, if I do 90-10,
which is great,
and I lose,
10% is great. Sorry.
Yeah. And I lose the entire 10%, then I'm breaking even. If my 90% gains 10% and I lose 10%, oh well. You know what I mean? But crypto's different, right? Because this thing might fly or might go up. So I'm almost considering like going to 80-20, but just for now, while we're at the top of this thing. But at the same time, I don't know. I get a little nervous whenever I start changing up my numbers. You know what I mean? Like,
just find some low cap gems. We're entering into the alt season. Put your money where your mouth is.
Okay, explain alt season for everyone watching.
All right, so right now what's happening is the dominance of Bitcoin is going down, right? We're the lowest we've been, I think I looked at it, we're the lowest we've been since 2018, I think that is, right? So what happens when the Bitcoin dominance goes down? It's like essentially the money in the crypto sphere isn't centralized in Bitcoin, right? Because at points we're at like 90% Bitcoin. So now the money is flowing around. Like for people like me, you know, if you got in 2017 into Bitcoin, or even in the flash crash in April, you're up now probably 15x, 20x, right? We're up, yeah, about that. Like it's wild. So we have an amount of money sitting where we can take out of Bitcoin and put it into altcoins, right? And then also people who are new to the market are getting directly into altcoins. So it means that the whole altcoin market is basically catching up with Bitcoin. And like that's the alt season, so everything just goes wild because people what normally happens is it starts off like this, right? And then we're like, so Bitcoin's doing well, altcoins are doing well, and then Bitcoin does really well, altcoins start to catch up, and then it's like this massive blow off top because people go like absolutely wild. They're like, there's no way of losing any money. We're just gonna pump as much money as we possibly can into the market, and then at that point is when things turn around. I don't know if you guys have seen the market cycle chart, right? So it's like at that point where it's peak euphoria, it's the same for stocks anyway. At peak euphoria, that's when the sell-offs happen, right? Because when people think nothing can go wrong, that's what happened in 2017. I remember it clear as day, or 2018.
So I have two questions. Now this was actually an ongoing debate in one of my Patreon lounges. So do you think, so we see things like Ethereum, we see Cardano going crazy right now. We see a lot of these more I guess, well-respected altcoins picking up momentum, right? Like they're gaining a lot. Now, some people are saying this is good for other altcoins such as SafeMoon, such as the more new ones in a sense, because it's the transfer of power from Bitcoin to altcoins. All altcoins are going to benefit from it. But then other people are saying, well, more money is going into Ethereum and Cardano and those type of ones, so that's taking away from SafeMoon. And so I'm like, I personally feel like if some altcoins are going to do good, like all altcoins are typically going to do good, or the other way around. You know, do you think it benefits seeing like Ethereum maybe hit 10K or something like that?
It's a trickle down, right? Because big cap alts are the next in line from Bitcoin. So that's why we're seeing Ethereum pump. That's why we're seeing XRP pump. That's why we're seeing the next ones in line pump, right? It's trickling down. So then the next in line are going to be the smaller cap, not hype coins, you know? Those will start to pump, and then the next in line after that is going to be hype coins, if that's the way the money's flowing, right? But what seems to be happening is people are they're treating the crypto market as Bitcoin and Ethereum are safe. Then I've got my low caps are like medium risk, and then my hype portfolio is high risk but high reward. So it could totally be either the last, like, you know, we'll blow off top Bitcoin, we'll blow off top altcoins, and then we'll blow off top the hype coins, or it will just sort of all kind of amalgamate at the same time. But there's no
Now I have a question for you guys. First, are your chats blowing up with Bonfire?
Everything.
I haven't looked into it, but all I'm getting is Bonfire.
I am getting some other things.
I got GMR.
Mine's my Happy Squad. It's Happy Squad all day. I love Happy Coin.
Should we do some super chats?
Oh my God, let's do some super chats.
Let's pull them out. Let's see.
By the way, if you guys don't mind, just hit the like button on all these videos right here. Heck, you can go and swap over to other people's videos, hit their like button.
Smash
I have all the people in this stream underneath my video, I believe. I think I have everyone tagged. So just go over to their channel, click their like button, come back here, click the like button.
Oh, someone in my chat doesn't like Bonfire. I'm not going to say what you said, but it wasn't a nice word, was it?
They're just, let's see. Because one of my guys said, what do y'all think? So I guess we should jump into it at some point, because I know people want to know what we're thinking about SafeMoon right now. I know they want to know.
I mean, what's the thing? Amazing. That's just simple. Drop mic. That's it.
What really excites me about SafeMoon more than anything is the fact that, like, you know, as content creators, we have this ongoing battle because we have to consider, like, okay, I might feel this way. Like, I personally felt this for so long. Like, as we saw that first fall with SafeMoon, I was like, it's going to recover at some point. Like, we are going to see it start to retest sometime soon here. But then you think like, okay, I want to make videos talking about it, but if you're wrong, like if you just so happen to be wrong, you're gonna get absolutely flamed for days. And so like with me, I'm excited to just like not be like I told you so, because there's like, but just kind of like I told you so, you know what I mean? Just seeing recovery. Yeah. And what excites me the most, and I've talked about this in the last couple of videos, is think about the fact that SafeMoon isn't even moving off of hype right now, right? Like there's no big news. We got 1.5 million holders, but that's it. It's not really moving off of any type of like, oh, some exchange listing. I mean, we had the Certic audit, but like other than that, what excites me is the fact that it's seeing some organic growth now that we're seeing some of the whales slow down. We're not seeing so much trimming. And so that gives me more confidence long term. Like, okay, we might really start to see this thing pick up momentum. We'll see dips, of course, but we might see some momentum catch up if we can keep up this type of upward momentum without big hype. You know what I mean? That's why I'm excited, at least.
Yeah. I think I'm excited too, because I think for a lot of people, like we think everyone knows what SafeMoon is, but I'm sure the majority of people, like if you walk up to 1,000 people on the street, they have no idea what it is. They go look it up and they're like, oh, it's a cryptocurrency. If it stays at the same level, they're not excited about it. But I think what people forget with SafeMoon is the fact that it can stay stagnant, but if it goes up and down enough, like you're gonna get some reward from that, right? You're gonna earn some extra crypto, which is a cool thing that doesn't always show up right away. It would show up if they showed like someone's wallet and they put like 100 in there and then they just let it sit there and then show the value going up over time. But that's kind of what's cool to me.
Yeah. I've been loving the little the reflections. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Because it almost reminds me of dividends, but just not the same. You know what I mean?
It's like dividends. That's such a great metaphor. That's a really great metaphor. I did not think about that. It's exactly like dividends. Yeah, for sure. Just a quick, faster, a quick and dirty version of a dividend, if you will.
Right. And you think about it, like if I guess the only difference there is that with dividends, it's guaranteed cash, right? Like you get that cash and you have it. Whereas with the reflections, it's almost like we're gonna give you more, but you only really want more if it's going up, right? You know what I mean? So like with me personally, I'm excited about it because I'm confident it'll keep going up. So I'm like, oh, I'm just getting free. I mean, it's free real estate. You know what I mean? But whenever it comes to some of those other coins that I think only have short-term potential, like if I'm short-term trading and I don't even consider the reflections at all, because if it falls, it falls, and I don't want more of something that's falling anyway.
So how much are you guys earning from that?
Go ahead.
Like I haven't done the math.
What?
I haven't done the math on that one yet. Conor?
Okay.
I don't know. It's decent, but I don't like go in, and because what you can do is if you have a big bag, right, you can go in and you can sell. Like if you have your base level where you got in, you can just go in and sell every time you like accumulate stuff. Yeah. I haven't done that with SafeMoons. I haven't really worked it out exactly, but it's good. The thing is, it's a decent income, and it's all well and good. But the reason, like, I'm only holding it because I'm 90% out, right? I have no reason to sell anymore. So I have every incentive to hold right now because it is literally free money at this point. So like that's the thing. Like I think the hype is here now, and I think people who are expecting another 100x anytime soon, right? That like maybe in 5 years, if SafeMoon is still around, we can see large gains again. If the manual burns happen, if the volume keeps going, if all of that keeps happening and we get low supply, sure, but like your coins that you're holding are going to be worth a lot more. But we're already seeing a sustained 100x, which is incredible, right? But from here to do a lot of money again is going to be very hard. Very hard.
So what do you think their strategy behind manual burn is? Like, what do you think they're thinking right now? Like, what's their best case scenario for manual burning and how they would employ it or deploy it?
It just totally depends on what they want to achieve, right? That's all. Like, if they want to, I think they've got. It's like selling. It's like, what is it? Selling back stocks, or when you do a yeah, or the other way around. Like when you sell, like you don't want to burn too many coins too quickly because you're going to destroy the long-term outlook of it, right? But it totally depends on what they want to do. It totally depends. Because if they burn 99% of all of the circulating supply, then sure, your coin's going to 100x now. But is that really going to help the coin in the long run, right?
And we have to consider too, like there's whales out there with a lot. You know what I mean? Like a lot. So that's what I've always said. I was like, slow down. Like everyone was like, I want them to burn it. Like everyone should sell so it should burn. I'm like, y'all want it to burn now, until these whales, the top 4 whales own like 80%. And then one of them just so happens to decide that they don't want to be in SafeMoon anymore. And that would be absolutely catastrophic. So me right now, I want this thing to slowly keep going up and these whales to keep slowly selling off. Because anything above 3%, like a whale with more than 3% makes me nervous. You know what I mean? Like, there's some of these altcoins that people have told me to look at, and I look, and the top holder has like 17%. I'm like, do you know what happens if they sell?
That's the number one red flag, right?
That's insane. Absolutely number one red flag. Yes, I'm right there. I'm there with you.
Doge has what is he holding, Sam?
28%, I believe.
It's wild. And also Doge doesn't have a hard cap, right? The circulating supply increases. Yep. Like always. It continues to increase. Like Doge is hype, right? And like hopefully it can be the currency of the internet one day or whatever the outlook is, but that it's not. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Crypto's wild.
No, but I think so. I completely agree with you, and like that's another thing I like about this the SafeMoon conversation is that we're getting a wallet, we're getting these NFT, we're getting all these different revenue streams that can contribute to the overall coin. So it's not just a coin for coin's sake, right? Like you're getting these like additional things. I almost look at it like buying SPACs or buying like equity into like a startup, right? Because you get these other additional kind of services that make the intrinsic value potentially more, and that's what I really like. That I love seeing any kind of coin when they open up those other services and when they're developing and
if they pull off everything that they're saying, it's going to be amazing, right? If they pull off the wallet, if they pull off the exchange, if they pull off whatever it is else, it's going to be incredible. But like, it's speculation at this point,
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
So I think the question a lot of people probably have, because I think we see a lot of people that have SafeMoon already that talk about it, but I think there are a lot of people that watch these videos that don't own SafeMoon. Do you guys think you would be buying in right now if you didn't have SafeMoon? Would you buy it?
No
chance.
No,
not right now. Like I always say this, right? So what we're seeing from SafeMoon right now, I haven't looked at the charts in like 4 hours, so I'm not.
I was about to say I have no idea how to answer that. I haven't seen the charts in 5 minutes. It could be
It's pumping. It's pumping hard. It's pumping hard.
So one thing I did see from SafeMoon,
we're close to new all-time high. We're close to the all-time high. Sorry to interrupt, Tyler.
Close.
Yeah.
Is it?
Damn. What's the all-time high?
I see 9.
Yeah.
I see 9, not like 1.5. I'm not putting all the zeros in there.
Yeah, I see 9 as well as the all-time high.
Wasn't the all-time high 14 or 15?
Oh yeah, maybe Dex Guru is wrong.
But
it's still pumping.
What I would do, just to answer that question, is it's not a blank no, but I would get into SafeMoon at this stage if what I was looking for is a normal return, right? If I was looking for 10%, or if I was looking for 5%, or I was looking to do a quick day trade or swing trade, but I wouldn't get into SafeMoon now expecting it to 100 or 10x in the near term, right? If you've done your research into SafeMoon and you're like, right, I genuinely believe in the CEO, I genuinely believe they're going to do what they say, and I'm going to hold this coin for 5 years, whether or not the entire crypto market crashes 99%, because in 5 years, I believe it's going to come back like it did from 2018 to 2020 or 2021, right? If all of those things, then yeah, sure. But apart from that, it seems wild to expect this to 100x like it did, right? We did 100x in 3 weeks. So like, that is just, you have to go in with the right idea as to what's going to happen next.
And I think that's where my original no came from, is just kind of like, I know what people want, right? Like I know like a lot of the people who want these hype coins, they want that like 20x now. And that's why I was like, right now, I never buy whenever we're seeing this much momentum. I might, like if I'm late, I'm late. But I bought SafeMoon, I bought it twice. So what I saw from SafeMoon on the, just whenever we were looking at the technicals, I was on stream maybe 2 or 3 days ago, 2 days ago. But we saw like this downward wedge, right? We saw more like a downward staircase, just boom, 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 boom. And it kept doing it over and over again. And every time it approached that downward trend line, I would buy some just to kind of see, you know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Boom, boom. Like whenever I buy personally, I'm looking for breakouts. I'm either looking for breakouts or I'm looking for it to establish such a strong level of support. Like say it goes up, it retraces 50% on the Fibonacci and it sits at 50, then I'll buy in. But whenever it's almost either touching all-time highs or like in price discovery, I'm good. I don't buy right there because it makes me nervous. I'm only 10% in my whole portfolio, so I nitpick when I'm gonna buy it and when I don't.
Totally.
Hey, question on the SafeMoon thing. CEO is in London, correct?
I think so.
Conor,
he was
maybe seen each other on the streets or something like that. Is that how it works?
Me, the Queen, the CEO of SafeMoon, we all hang out. We get tea and crumpets.
What is there a reason? Do you think there was a reason for that relocation for that London office? Is there something I'm missing there?
I think just from my understanding, it's like covering the whole world, right? Because they plan to have offices all over. So I think London was just the next one for them to like sort of cover their base, from my understanding, anyway.
Yeah. Because I think because I'm curious to see. So the whole thing that everyone's kind of curious about, what I'm very curious about, right? So whenever it comes to SafeMoon, everyone's kind of like, what's going to be their usage? Like, what is SafeMoon really going to be used for? And then we get from John, like, we're going to be the freedom of the unbanked. Then we start to notice that all of these different exchanges get listed that are in places where the unbanked population is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I have family in the Middle East, so whenever I heard they were going to the Middle East, I was like, oh, that's like, if we're talking unbanked, like that's the place to be. And then they're talking about Africa, they're talking about India, et cetera. I think India's population of unbanked people is like 23% or something like that.
Insane. So, they have great internet connection too. Sorry, I just want to throw that in.
Well, most of the world has an internet connection, right, from their phone. Like there's a lot, there's more people that are like from the unbanked have like a mobile phone that's connected to the internet. So it's a great thing to try and achieve.
I'm curious to see though how, because we look at maybe someone like Cardano who's doing a lot of stuff, because they specifically said Africa, right? SafeMoon, like that. We specifically heard from the live stream Africa. So my question is, how are they going to? I want to know how we're going to see them be able to compete with someone like Cardano in a sense, who's already who's cleared a lot of these barriers that SafeMoon's trying to clear already. Like I feel like Cardano had such a head start that I'm like, I want to see how they're going to do it. I hope they do, but I'm just curious about where the competitive advantage comes from.
More watches than Bitcoin.
Yeah, no, very true. I think that's a valid question too, because I mean, Cardano's main thing was what was the thing that ledgers for the teachers are. The educational ledger. So there's so many different ways to jump. This reminds me of Humble, the stock which I covered. It was like a penny stock. It was TSNP, then it switched to Humble. And basically, the CEO would just like throw all these different iterations against the wall and kind of see what stuck, right? He had kind of like an Alipay competitor. He had like an Amazon competitor with like a vendor customer merchant, and then he had like a ETX, which is amazing. That's my favorite thing. I think we need more of that in the crypto space actually, which is really cool. So basically it's like a bundle of different cryptos, almost like a mutual fund. And then you could buy into that marketplace and exchange and stuff like that. So it was a lot of just throwing things up against the wall to see what sticks. And I'm wondering if that's not more of their back-end strategy right now, trying to approach Africa. It's like, how do we get a foothold in there? Like, do we just throw a lot of things against the wall, see what sticks, or are they really kind of honing in and looking at one specific iteration to jump in? That's kind of my questions I'm waiting to see answered.
And I kind of like that. Like, I'm not going to lie, like, just in a competitive sense, I think it's a good idea, right? And I kind of think about it as like how can I explain? Like an MMA fight, okay? Because like we all know, like I've talked about it in my stream, I've kind of showed them. I announced it like 2 weeks ago that I'm an MMA fighter.
Wait, you?
So whenever I go, maybe so. Wait, it depends on the day. I didn't know that. But, and so whenever I go in there, right? Say if like I'm trying to get a competitive edge, I'm not going to go in there with just one game plan, right? I'm not going to go in there looking for one thing that I'm going to do better at than maybe say if I'm fighting Cardano. So if they start doing all these things, talking about competitive edge, I think they were talking about NFT marketplaces and all these different things, one of them will work. And I do the same thing. I go into a fight, I'm just ready to do whatever, and something's going to work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so personally speaking, I like it. Because say if they just do specifically like education and then that fails and they have no other outlets, then they're kind of just like, it's another one. You know what I mean? So I like it. I'm curious. I think the future for SafeMoon makes me more excited than any other crypto right now, just because there's so much stuff happening at once. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's a wild time.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'm going to come see one of your fights, just side note, and I'm going to wager some crypto on you against anyone else. So if someone wants to make a bet against you, let me know. We'll whip out the trust wallets and we'll get it going.
Oh yeah, I support it. I support that.
What do you guys think about all the other cryptos now popping up out of the woodwork with tokenomics, you know, burning 5%, giving you some money for it, stuff like that? Do you think that's going to be just more commonplace, and there's going to be some other crypto that really runs and does really well over the coming years?
It's that auto staking, right? People love a passive income. So like that seems to be what everyone's doing now. So yeah, for sure. Like, well, that's essentially what SafeMoon did, right? They took that idea and then like, you know, a lot of people don't stake their Cardano, for example, because they probably don't know how to do it, or they just choose not to, right? But like, at least like this is like automatic staking. So like they are doing that well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends on the application, right? Because whenever I get requests to take a look at some, no shade to anybody, but like in the chat or anything, but like Safe Mars or anything that has that same name, that has the same thing, like say it's basically just a copycat, but just with a little tweak. Maybe it's not 5%, 5%, it's 3%, 3%. Those I typically tend to ignore because I can't imagine that something is going to come around and copy SafeMoon, get more popularity than SafeMoon, and then do what SafeMoon's doing but better. But there are some that add their own functions, right? So I know I've talked about in this stream a few times because it's literally my favorite crypto project right now. But talking about Happy Coin, right? So what they do is very similar. It's very super similar. They have kind of like the reflection process and everything like that. But then it's a charity-oriented token, right? And so there's something else that goes on that differentiates them from SafeMoon that can allow them to grow in their own way. That's what I look for. But if it's all the same, I just ignore it, typically, for the most part.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Like I don't understand. Like this is what I say when people comment, you know, whatever the safe in front of something or the moon after something. I'm just like, if you're genuinely trying to create a project, right? Because the way I invest in these hype coins is I'm going to invest in the coins that I think like could maybe outstand the hype, because once I've taken my profit, I still want to hold a bag. That's what I'm doing with SafeMoon. You know, I've taken my profit, I made a decent amount on that, and I still want to hold it because I genuinely think there is a possibility SafeMoon can go somewhere. And it's like I don't understand the thought process behind trying to create, like, unless it is literally there to just quickly make money and leave. Why would you call it, you know, what? I don't want to name anything. I'm trying not to say them out loud, but like, why would you copy the name entirely and even copy the tokenomics, copy everything about the project, but then try and say that you're something new, right?
Or have misspellings on your website. I'm like, God, let's just have a proof, break off a little bit of money for a proofread. Get some Grammarly or something like that. You know,
and I'm not gonna say, some of them probably, if you want to get in like fast, like get in out. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But if you want to get in when it first hits the market, knowing that is going to catch on, because safe anything, blank moon anything is going to get people's attention because of SafeMoon, right? And so, like, I don't do it. I don't recommend anyone to do it. But I'm sure if you get in on some of these ones that just hit the market, they're just coming around, there's a quick in out you can do. Now,
I've done it.
Get stuck.
I've done it. You know,
exactly. You don't want to be. But
I've been doing it. Like, it's a great way. Right now, we're in this crazy market that you can get in and out quickly, and you can literally make 300% on the day, right? You can get in and out.
Absolutely.
But let's say I've done it with 10 coins, right? The money that I'm using is just profit from the hype coins, right? I got no issue with that. And then on top of that, at least 3 of them or even 4 of them, I'm only slightly better off, right? Because that's like day trading. Absolutely. As long as you can get 54%, right? You're going to be making money. And it's like, I'm only, you know, right slightly more of the time. But I'm still holding like 3 or 4 of these coins that have gone to nothing. Right? Before I even got my initial investment out, it went up. I'm talking to my mates. I'm like, yes, this is good. We've got this. We've got this one. And then we go back in 10 minutes and it's crashed and that's it. It's over. And now they're sitting at 99% less than they were. Right? So it's like,
and that's something I've had to figure out as myself, because if you watch any of my old videos, like when it comes to my investments, I'm super traditional, super fundamentalist, right? I'm big into the fundamentals. And something that it took me a little bit to kind of understand is that times are going to change, right? And I think that's something that a lot of the fundamental investors aren't going to be able to grasp, is due to the fact that stuff is literally just going to move now because people are talking about it. You know what I mean?
Hype is a new world.
right, we're going to invest, we're going to have all of our investments. But I think honestly that whenever you see something gain in popularity like this, and you don't get into it simply because you're like, well, no, that doesn't make sense, you're missing out on an opportunity.
Oh, totally.
You know, it shouldn't move. Like, some things have no reason to move whatsoever, but they're gonna. And if you don't take advantage of it, well, yeah, you're probably mitigating risk a lot. But at the end of the day, you're still missing out on an opportunity that will probably continue forever now that everyone can invest right here. You know what I mean?
I was
honestly,
against
I love the idea of day trading the cryptos. I really do. I think that's so fun. I'm much more. I think I just make videos all day, check my Trust Wallet, you know, every hour on the hour. But I think there's something to be said for a day
the problem with Trust Wallet though is it tells you the wrong number, right? So like everyone,
I know.
everyone always thinks that they're getting jibbed, right? That PancakeSwap is stealing money from them. But the actual issue is the number in dollar value on your Trust Wallet is wrong. It's nearly always higher than it actually is. Like, the only way to see the direct dollar value is if you go into PancakeSwap, you put however many SafeMoon you want to sell or however many you hold, and you just convert that into BUSD. And that will tell you the direct, exact, real price of what you're holding. Because, like, even now, my SafeMoon and my Elongate and a couple of the other ones are worth way more on my Trust Wallet than they are, because I track my stuff on Blockfolio, right? So they all have different prices because none of them are tracking the right numbers.
It's a nightmare. Trust Wallet and like, when I tell you, Trust Wallet and PancakeSwap give me more issues than I've ever experienced in my life. They frustrate me so much. But the issue is right now, like, there's not many alternatives. You know,
so it's kind of like the comments. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's
sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. And I see it like all the time. Whenever I didn't want to be the guy to bring it up, but I figured it's going to come up at some point. Like with the refinable situation, right? There were so many issues that happened with Trust Wallet in itself that I'm just like, how much of that was Trust Wallet itself? You know, like, I always wondered, because I know people who are having way too many problems, technical difficulties, and like, it's so frustrating. It gets on my nerves.
Well, it's PancakeSwap as well, and the way it's set up, right? Because, I mean, I think that's just like, if you were in on that or you were out on that, that is the perfect learning opportunity to always double check what you're doing, right? And don't like that was the perfect example of don't invest in something that you don't believe in, right? Because it's just like, unless you go into that trade expecting to either make some money or lose everything, that's it. That you shouldn't have got into it otherwise. You shouldn't be risking an amount of money that will affect you on things like this.
So I like Refinable. I really did. Wait, I'm gonna go shut my door real quick, but I really liked it, and I'll be right back, and I'm gonna tell you why I liked it. I'm gonna make my little case for being so excited about it, and then how I feel so disappointed and let down and personally attacked. But we'll get to that.
All right, we'll just wait for you. We'll just wait here for you.
I might spoil what he's gonna say, but I still hold Refinable. The main thing that I see is, obviously, I still think they're backed by Binance. Also, Mr. Beast talks about it in one video, talk about how he's dropping some NFTs once they have that all set up.
Yeah.
Like, the thing's going to go up exponentially. Like, it's worth it just from that risk, because he has 25 million people that watch him.
What are we saying at now?
Every single video. So no way, if he talks about it once, it doesn't skyrocket. I think it's worth the risk reward, even if it goes down 90% in my mind. Because it is.
I'm petty. Like, with the whole situation, I'm so petty about it that I refuse. I'm like, I'll miss out on 100% gains. I really don't care.
But
just because like the whole situation just aggravated me so much.
The thing is like obviously there's two sides of the coin, right? Because if what they're saying is the case, and this bot came in and they got 60% and they sold a percentage every second, that would account for what happened, right? Whether or not that's the case. But if that is the case, in the argument that is what happened, Refinable is still the company that we looked into, right? It still looks good. They still have Binance. They still have Mr. Beast. It still looks like an awesome thing, you know? It's still, like, in my opinion, it still looks great. So it's like there's those two corners that are fighting the same, you know?
So you know what bothered me the most is I absolutely do believe that if Binance truly, or not Binance, and if Refinable did absolutely nothing wrong, right? I mean, they like what they're saying is 100% true, like you said. What still kind of bothered me about the whole situation was almost a lacking of taking responsibility that they still played a part.
For sure,
you know? Because in their tweets, like even when it was happening, they were on Twitter just kind of like, like pretending nothing was happening at all, deleting people. They blocked me off. They blocked me off Twitter. Like all of these different things. And then whenever they released a statement about what happened, all I wanted them to say was like, look, this is what we believe happened, and we apologize that it got to this point, and we're sorry, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But it was almost like, yeah, you know, we did what we could, but these things happened. And I'm like, okay, I understand that you might not have had any fault at this, right? I still think there was a lack of preparation for it. That's still my opinion. But what my whole point about it is, I just kind of think about it in a sense like, how could you launched this platform and everything. Like, I've taken responsibility for just talking about it, but now they're not taking responsibility at all for, either a lack of preparation or just the fact that they didn't expect that to happen in general. I think that lack of taking responsibility bothers me so much that, like, I'm not going to give them any money, like, at all.
Yeah, so I apologized more than Refinable did. And that's unacceptable, like, right. I felt bad. And like, I was so excited. Here's the thing. Like, I was so excited. I heard y'all for sure. And it was just it just is needed in the space, right? That kind of marketplace, it's just where the space is going. And we need like a strong player. I talk about this a lot in Seth Godin's book, The Dip. He talks about, like, I keep on quoting that book. I hope it's the book, The Dip. I don't know. It's a Seth Godin book, right? I don't know. And so he talks about being the first one in the space, right? If you're first one in the space, you get an oversized proportion of the market share versus the second, third, and fourth one, right? So there's basically saying being the first is always the best. And I'm talking about, like, he gave an example of, like, ice cream flavors, and how vanilla is number one, chocolate's number two, and strawberry's number three, or whatever. But basically, vanilla gets 80% of the marketplace. It's not just, 1, 2, 3 all kind of jockeying for the top spot. No, it's like the first one gets 80% of a marketplace. And that's what I was thinking was going to happen here. I was like, oh my gosh, if they execute this right, if they come in right, if they have these integrations and the partnerships and the Binance backing, stuff like that, I was like, they could be the 80%, almost monopolize the entire space. So, like, I was so excited for that landscape, I think. And then when they fumbled it with something so stupid by having that happen, literally so dumb. No one was talking about the platform being dumb. No one was talking about the executive team being dumb. No one was talking about, the Binance partnership being dumb. No one was talking about that. So everything was great, but they just fumbled the ball on that, idea or whatever. And it was just so upsetting, because I was like, you had such a good thing here, and you could have really crushed it. You could have really made some serious money. And now instead I have to apologize to my audience because y'all are idiots, like, it really grinds my gears, guys. Still gets me all.
And I'm not going to lie, like, I do personally believe that, again, with Refinable, it's solid. Like, whenever we think about what they're pitching, if what they're pitching is true, it's solid. They have a strong backing. They have a strong influencer behind them. I mean, that's exactly what you need right now to take a piece of this puzzle, take a piece of this pie, right? But my issue is that I think going forward, there's always going to be that stain, right? You spill red juice on your white sheets. You can wash it as much as you want, and it could be just as comfortable as it's always been. But that red stain is always going to be there. And I think we can be 5 years, 10 years. There's going to be people like me. I'm so petty, I'm not going to forget. You know what I mean?
Has that never been?
All it would take personally to get a piece of what they're claiming is a company who has a very strong foundation within their staff, super transparent, super clear, with their own platform that's maybe different than Refinable. But they have a very engaging community, and with that community, also staff who appreciates their community, and I think everyone would flock that fast. That's like what I expect.
I disagree with you there. The reason is, if we look at the stock market, look at Robinhood. They've screwed up 3-4 times. And most people, like, on YouTube know and are pissed off and stuff. Like, I had people yelling at me for even forgetting to delete a link, like, after that happened, at the very bottom of my videos, and people were, like, calling me a terrible human being and stuff. And, like, people were so angry, but their users went up. Like, it was just, like, more people were like, there's a big controversy. Oh, what does Robinhood do? Oh, I can buy stocks for free. And then they just go on there.
Any publicity is good publicity, right?
Yeah, we dial into all the bad stuff, but I think if 2 or 3 years from now, people just hear about NFTs and start paying attention to what it actually is, and the market cap goes up 10x or 3x, 4x, people won't care. They'll just hear, oh, there's a discount and they won't even remember this. They wouldn't have even heard about it in the first place.
I think that's a really good point, and that puts the emphasis really on the software and the marketplace. If there's an ease of use that people find just so easy to use that they can't ignore it, that is, I think you're right. I think that's the only way they can kind of come back and win again, is by really, really paying attention to the customer, which obviously they have shown completely a blind spot that they don't want to do. But let's just say if they do pull off an awesome software that is just easier to use than not, then you're right. Then maybe, then maybe the $9 price is worth it. No, I'm kidding.
And I think honestly, like the only thing that I would say is different, kind of just with the Robinhood situation, is that in my opinion, like what Robinhood did had me, like I say it time and time again, like I get salty and I get petty and I just don't let things go. And with Robinhood, I'm still annoyed, right? But the difference is, I can attest that there is, in my opinion, no app right now for investing as convenient as Robinhood. What I will say about Refinable is that I think that what they're offering, like whenever all the things that they're offering can easily be competed with, in my opinion. No one will be able to compete right now with like a Binance partnership or anything like that. But the overall usage of the app, I think there's many of them that are going to come out that are just as easy to use. So I think, I don't know, I'm salty and my bias is probably speaking right now, but it kind of frustrates me. I'm curious to see what Conor, what do you think coming forward? Do you think Refinable is going to be like a dominant player even with the stain on it, or do you think something's going to swoop in real quick?
If they achieve what they said they're going to achieve, then I agree with Sam. Like if they pull off what they're saying that they're going to pull off, there's no reason why let's say that we do enter the crypto winter in the next bull run, which is a year after the halving. So 2025 or something. If we enter that and they're still around, they're a legit NFT marketplace. They got a sweet app that's like super easy to use. It's the app that people use to buy NFTs. It's so easy. The transaction fees are so low because it's on the Binance Smart Chain. Like everything's sweet. It's like that. It's the app. No one's gonna care. Like no one's gonna care.
Right.
Like, and it's sad, obviously, but that's the risk that you play. It's exactly the same as the SPAC market, right? Like exactly the same as any of those. Like if I bought if you bought one of those electric, like if you bought Workhorse, right, and you bought it because everyone said that it was gonna be the UPS contract, right? We thought it was gonna be for sure gonna be it 3x, right? And then it turned out it wasn't. It turned out it wasn't, and down at the bottom. But if it was, it would have been great. So it's that's the risk you get in getting into something early, right? And that's the game we're playing.
Yeah. Otherwise, go over to index funds.
Yeah. What do we think? So my honest opinion right now, right? This is how I truly feel. I have a I say it on my channel all the time. I genuinely
believe. Say this for your Patreon members, or no? I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, no. I tend to say some other stuff, but 95% of hype coins and altcoins that are coming out within the last 2 or 3 months are not going to make it through the winter. Yeah. I mean, that's genuinely how I feel. I think ones we see right now, I see so many people getting emotionally attached to 10 to 20 of them. And I'm looking at them you can do what you want.
Yeah.
But the majority of those aren't going to do well.
I mean, even the thing is whether or not they're still around. It's what I'm that's the main thing I'm trying to get a point on my channel is whether or not they're still around, the money, their value is going to be down in the winter, no matter what, right? Yeah. That's
like the .com boom.
Yeah, exactly. It's and then there were some that Google or whatever that was started then, and they're awesome now, and they would have gone down, and the people who held are sitting on a pretty penny. It's very hard to tell where we'll be in 4 years from now, right? And it's whether or not the company themselves, behind SafeMoon, for example, is still around, the price, let's say, of their stock or their crypto is going to be down, the whole market. And that's why I think.
So Conor's been through a few of these winters. And so you've kind of been able to gauge the community. You've been kind of able to gauge the popularity. Now, this is kind of how I feel. But again, you've been around the longest. So I'm curious about your perspective and specifically. So whenever it comes to a crypto, okay, yeah.
So old and decrepit.
Let me just get my walking stick. I've been here for 84 years.
He actually invented crypto. Fun fact.
Yeah,
he actually invented the stone scrolls, and then he moved to crypto.
He's the guy. But no, my question though, like, do you think that this one would be as bad as we have seen? Like, do you think you see Bitcoin drop 90%, 80% as we've seen in the past? Or do you think that there are enough people? Because my perspective on it is I think there's a lot more people who are now willing to buy it as it falls because it has been more established or proved credible than there was 2 or 3 years ago, right?
And
we've seen a lot more
support.
widespread usage of Bitcoin. And so I feel like personally this winter itself could have the potential to be, if not the shortest, but the least impactful than we've seen in the past. That's just my opinion, at least.
I'm just seeing what the average price Michael Saylor bought Bitcoin. All right, so he's got 91,000 Bitcoin, right? $2.23 billion worth of Bitcoin, and his average price is $24,000. So, taking that into consideration, in my opinion, we could potentially see, let's say, for example, $100,000 Bitcoin, right? And then what we see is a 75% correction to $25,000, right? Or we see, like, we're at 50K now, there's a massive support, right? Because we dropped, I don't have the Bitcoin charts up, but we dropped from, I think around where Elon Musk bought in was $39,000, right? And like it then shot up from there. So there's going to be massive support around that $40,000 mark. Like we dip below it for a little bit and then we shoot back up, right? So these sort of support levels could be what we consider, you know, because between the last one and now, the average price for Bitcoin was about 8K, right? So that 8K could translate now into between 24 and 40K, right? So it's like, yes, we might see the same amount of downturn, but if we see that same blow off top we saw in 2017, 2018, we could be way, way higher than we are right now, and we come down to where we're sitting now. So that's one of the things.
Is that a part of why you're not? Is that a part of why you're not? Because I know you told me the other day like you're not buying too much right now. Like you're still buying like some of these altcoins, hype coins. But you said you weren't buying too much of those more established. Is that kind of what your expectations are? We're somewhere around a base. Now, roughly.
I think, roughly that we're in. This could potentially be a base, but that's also the reason why my plan right now is 50-50, 50% stable, because a stable coin is essentially cashing out, right? As long as the company behind that stable coin, like Binance, doesn't collapse into nothing. And as long as they are actually doing a 1-for-1, you know, there was a bit of trouble there with Tether, I think, not doing like whatever. But as long as that's like the safe option, then that's why I'm 50-50, right? Because if I could go back in time, the only thing I would have done differently is I would have taken the initial only $5,000 I put in, right? I would have just had that in cash. Like, just give me that back so I'm not emotional. And then I could have held Bitcoin. And if I had have held Bitcoin, I would have been far better off than if I was holding these smaller coins, right?
So I'm glad you said that. So tell people, for people who may not know, this dude's story when it comes to crypto is insane. So if you want to quickly, like how you want to say it, kind of explain to them how fast that thing blew up. It's ridiculous. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous.
2017 or now?
Kind of both. Kind of like the little, like,
all
why.
those successes, Connor. To it.
Let's hear the ancient story.
Well, back in my day when I first invested into Bitcoin, it was what, $3,500, right? And I'm like backstage because I used to be a performer, or I'm still technically a performer, I guess. And like I was backstage, and we were like, this Bitcoin thing seems like pretty decent, but it's going up. Let's just buy a bit of Bitcoin, right? And so I put in. It must have been around $5,000, right, in total of everything that I put in 2017. And that went from that, as a complete noob investor, right, I have no idea what I'm doing, I went from $5,000 to $75,000 by 2018. Like that December, that night, my dad's here for New Year's. I don't know if you're watching, Dad, but you remember this. And like, I remember telling him like $15,000 I made last night, right? I'm sitting at $75,000. This is the most money I've ever seen, right? And from probably that start of the year to maybe 2 or 3 months in, it was just, you know, it was that, I wish I could show the market cycle. It was literally that diagram, right? We had the euphoria exactly at the end of the year. It then came down. We had a little bit. We had like, you know, no way, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. And then it did come back a little bit. And everyone's like, yes, this is new. We're fine. And then boom, right? And that was the end. Not the end, but, and I completely held through everything because I have conviction in the investments that I had. I made that decision, right? That was what I was doing. I was investing for the long term. And I held 100% ICX. And because that was the one that made me, I got in on ICX when it was $2, right? That was what it, the initial coin offering was $2. I got in on there. I was trading like Cardano, TRX, Verge. These were all the hype coins of back then, right? I'm trading them all. I got up to $75,000. I then moved it all into ICX because I was like, that's my guy, right? Like I said, like that's the one I believe in. It's my boy. So I put all my money in that. And then 3-4 months later, it's worth probably half. And then I remember checking my phone. So I was doing a news show here in Dubai, right? And I remember checking my phone. I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was around 2 years ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, just before this whole horrible situation we're in, right? And my portfolio was worth $1,800. Like $1,800, right? I went from like,
know the story.
Huh?
I said I haven't heard this story. I didn't know this part of the story.
Yeah. So like, sorry, my thing's lagging a bit, but yeah. So it was just that was I went from like at that high of crypto, that the money that I was making, it meant that the money I was making from my job was like fun money, right? I'm like, I don't even like, what is this? What's this little amount of money I'm making a month? It was incredible, and I went from that high to absolutely nothing, right? To less than my investment. To anything, you know, and it was like that's why even when you're, so what was I sitting at? Probably 15x, right, from my initial investment. So the reason why I stress the initial investment, getting it back, is even when you're sitting at 15x your money, there could be that exact scenario that happened to me, where if you had have just taken your initial investment out, right at the end of it, you would be better off, right? Because I would be better off at that. I would have $1,600, or I'd have $6,800 at that point. So that's.
And you consider something like, you consider this too, right? These things that we're invested in, say SafeMoon, say someone just decided that SafeMoon is it. They're good. They're doing amazing. They do all this good stuff, right? But then something happens that no one could have just saw happen. You know what I mean? Maybe I don't want to put anything into the universe. I'm really bad luck, but a catastrophic event, someone passes away, someone gets arrested for something crazy.
Satoshi Nakamoto gets exposed.
Yeah, something you never thought could have ever happened, and then it's gone just like that. You know what I mean? And so that's why it's like I try to tell people it's so important that no matter how much you believe in it, your just hope is not enough to keep this thing up.
I can tell you now. So 4 years later, that exact holding, I still have it to this day, is worth $29,000. So I am still not as high as I was in 2017, and I've held it for 4 years.
Pretty good return though overall.
Yeah, great return, right? Exactly, yeah. But so that's the, like, you know, the other day, I think it was yesterday, I made a video about SafeMoon potentially, like if the one out of 100% chance happens and SafeMoon becomes a cent, right? You're gonna have to have the diamond hands to just hold it for 4 years, right? To see what might happen. That's the only way, right? So it's like even now, 4 years later, I'm not where I was 4 years ago. So it's like. Oh,
and that's what people are used to,
my story,
right? They see it and they're like, even if I fall, like people think, well, even if it falls, it'll go up 100% in the next year. Like these things are long term. Like people's the perception of long term within the current market now is like 6 months, and that amazes me because I'm like, when I first got into this thing, like we were talking like you're reading books and you're studying people like the Warren Buffetts and those before like Kathy Wood came around. And they're saying long term, like 30, 40 years. And people are like, yeah, I hold this thing for the long term. I'm like, how long you plan on holding? Yeah, I'll probably sell it in like August. I'm like,
3 or 4 days.
Bro.
I got a long term outlook.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
That's how I feel with Bitcoin. I feel like I've been in it for forever, and it was like January I started buying it or something like that.
Yeah.
But I do have a question for you guys.
Okay.
And Connor, I know you had a hard limit on time here. How are we looking before we get into this?
Yeah, let's just power through. I'll probably have to go soon, but
Okay.
we're all good now.
Okay.
Yeah.
My question is this: what are you guys buying this week? Like, what have you bought this week, whether it's stocks or cryptos? Because I think, we talk about certain things, but a lot of the time we talk about SafeMoon, and we might not be buying SafeMoon. So what are you guys buying if you feel comfortable talking about it?
Personally speaking, I've been kind of upping my my risk a little, right? So I used to be very nitpicky. Like, I'm not buying this, I'm not buying that. But I'm getting a little bit more like,
to the moon.
I've allocated 10% of my cash, and I just won't spend it ever. Like, and so I'm like, you know what? Let's just start. So there's two right now that I'm really.
Tyler, did you say 6%? Tyler, did you say 6%?
10%. Yeah. Maybe 6% one day if I keep getting a little bit nervous. But so what I'm looking at right now is there's one. I've been super big into charity tokens recently, and the one I talked about earlier, Happy Coin, I'm buying that. And then there's a new NFT marketplace that's like for gamers that I'm excited about. It's super new. It's super speculative. It still hasn't really reached any of those big milestones that we want to see. Of course, like, they're in the same race with everyone else. They haven't released their marketplace. They haven't done any of that. But they have an owner who's super transparent. He goes on Twitch. He had a Twitch stream earlier I checked out called GMR. It's like the gamer token, basically. It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's super
everyone's
interesting.
popping off about that on my chat.
It's super cool, man. And I
Yeah.
talked to the owner last night. And what I will say is he's just super transparent, super clear, and nothing going on. And those are the two. So, like, that's why I like them so much, just because, like, Sawyer, the CEO for Happy Coin, he's super, like, open about what his missions are, what his goals are. And I'm personally going to be doing a live stream. If not next week, it depends. I might have to go out of town, but the next week after. And I'll actually be doing a live stream myself where all of the donations and the super chats we get from the live stream, me and Sawyer are going to probably end up doing a live stream with them where I'm going to donate all of that to the same charity that they do it to. And that's just kind of been my thing recently. So I've been big on the charity coins, but I've been, those two are like good for me, but they're still in that, like, it might make it might not phase. You know what I mean? That's kind of something.
On that note, just you having the conversation with him, I don't want to bring it back to hype coins too much because we're kind of moving on, but like that's something that I look for, right? When I'm like researching these coins, that's the ones that I'm getting into. I want the people behind it to show who they are, right? Like, I understand that a lot of the time, like, I've spoken to a few people, I understand they have reasons behind not wanting to show themselves. But for me to, essentially we put our name on the line when we talk about these coins, right? So, like, for me to put my name on it and for me to put my money into it, I'm going to need something more than your name and what you think you're going to do, right? Because I wouldn't invest in a company in the stock market if the guy who ran it wouldn't tell me who he was. So, like, I think that's good that you like speaking to him.
That was that's true. That's true. What are you did you buy anything recently? Or
well, this morning I bought XRP.
Okay.
For the first time.
Nice.
Yeah. So I woke up this morning, like, I've been eyeing XRP, like, because of all of the stuff that's been happening, and with the whole, it's one of those things, right? Because if they get cleared from this thing they're going through, it could potentially, like, and when I say big movements, I'm thinking maybe 100%, right? I'm not thinking 100x. I'm not thinking the world's largest crypto. I'm thinking like 100%, like, of 2x, right? And so I woke up this morning. It was on a 10% dip. The chart looked nice, so I was like, you know what? It's time that I dip my toes in a bit of Ripple. So I did.
Yeah.
And hype coins. I haven't bought anything new in a while.
Oh, you need to change that, Well, we need to, we'll throw some speculative bets in. We'll see. What I am trying to buy right now is when I am in South Carolina, because I'm in LA and South Carolina, I wake up and I stay on the top floor of my house because it's a quadplex. And so I wake up and then I walk out to the balcony. It's nice and there's birds, and I look down and there's this, like, ugly, disgusting house. So I'm buying my neighbor's house. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And she's like, she's like, why do you want to buy it? I'm like, honestly, I just don't want to look at it anymore. So I'm going to buy it and I'm going to paint it and I'm going to make it look nice. And that's one thing. And then the other thing is across as we know, we all get lots of email inboxes and stuff like that. And one of them was an NFT marketplace that was around the Spanish speaking NFT marketplace. So it was in Spain, and they were going after, like, a European and also, like, Latin American market and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, that's That's interesting. I haven't seen a lot of iterations on like with Altcoins and everything and NFT marketplaces where they are looking at different geographies as much, right?
Yeah.
It's also Western based. So I might be buying some of that, and I might have to do a little more research, not in that company specifically, but into some other companies and Altcoins that are more in the other geography. Because like, listen, I mean, and I've talked about this on my channel too, but Latin America, Asia, such early adopters of crypto. I mean, they were in crypto before we, even heard about it, basically, right? Because of the kind of, and I'm just using like a macro term, but like their long history of having trouble with their central monetary systems. And so they're all in on the crypto. So I love any coin company or whatever that's making inroads there and kind of launching and not ignoring that market, because I think that is huge. And like Connor said or whatever, I mean, everyone has a phone, even if they're unbanked, the phone is the access point. So if they can if they can transact with their phone or buy on their phone or something like that, and it's something that is catering to the Asian market or the Latin American market, I am all in on something like that.
And I love the fact that you brought that up, and it's something I haven't talked about in a while, but you almost consider, so people tend to say things along the lines of like, with Bitcoin, for example, like people don't understand how important just a simple store of value can be until you consider something like, I don't know if you guys really know like what's going on in say like Venezuela, for example, like the value of Venezuelan currency is like going down at ridiculous rates, right? Like absolutely ridiculous rates. And so I almost consider it the fact that like it's depreciating so much that if you would have simply bought, say you had $1,000 and you used in Venezuelan currency, I'm not 100% sure what the exact name is, and you bought say Bitcoin and you just held it, Bitcoin didn't even go up, but you simply just held that and it stored that value, you would be one of the elites now, because the value of that same amount of money has depreciated over 20 years at ridiculous amounts. And realistically, there's so much civil war going on within the different governmental parties that you think like the capabilities of cryptocurrency in itself, just as a store of value, is a use case enough for me. That's why I support it so much, because I'm like, that puts so many people on even playing fields. You know what I mean? Like, and I love it. That's why I'm such a big fan. That's what got me into it personally. Just on the side note.
Bitcoin is a store of value. Bitcoin's digital gold and Ethereum's the internet, right? That's how I like to talk about it. Right. That's what, Yeah.
I've been spreading out my buys throughout the week because I bought heavy in the stock market.
What did you buy?
So I doubled my position in Voyager Digital last Friday. You guys probably know Voyager just from the crypto side.
How do you feel about that? Because I haven't looked into it much, but I've been getting spammed about it a lot.
They're growing so quickly. Like they're growing 50%. They're growing like assets under management and revenues about 50% every month. And they were growing like in January and December faster than that. Now part of that's the crypto market in general, right? Since assets under management should go up too, just because the market's doing well. But they had like 270,000 funded accounts at the beginning of this month, and they added 130,000 to that. So they added like 45% funded accounts. I really like the app. Sometimes it goes down for some reason, but it's like Robinhood only for crypto. They also announced they're going to add more cryptos because it has more cryptos that they pay an interest rate on than I think any other app, and they hold like 56 cryptos. And then they're also talking about how they're working with you guys know the Nigerians or something on CNBC. They're like brothers that were in the NFL that are on there.
Yeah, I haven't watched.
They
them,
have
but
some
I think I know what
company.
you're talking about.
Yeah, they have some company. I forgot what it's called, but they're working together with Voyager to provide stocks on the Voyager platform. And if they can do that, like that would be huge, first of all, because I don't know any other app that has like multiple cryptocurrencies, like a good number of them that pay interest that have stocks on there too. So anyways, I doubled my position there.
So you bought shares in Voyager?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Cool.
And I bought crypto in there too. But
they have their own coin?
Yeah, I bought like another $1,500 worth of Voyager stock.
Okay.
It's only on the OTC market though, so you have to buy it like on Fidelity or something like that. You can't buy it on Robinhood.
I can't use that. I'm not American. They don't let me in.
Sure.
They don't let me in. Let me in.
And then I bought Teladoc too. I bought Tattooed Chef. I bought Peloton and Etsy after they fell.
Tattooed Chef.
Yeah.
My boy.
I bought
yes.
Etsy fell hard, right?
What'd you say?
Oh, I said Etsy like fell hard, right?
Yeah, I had put it on a watch list because I really like the business itself, like just what they do. Like Amazon can't compete because it's just so different. And then it fell like 10% after like pretty good earnings, and I bought some. It fell down more after that, but I bought some then. And then I also bought Cardano. I bought like 900 Cardano this week.
Timing. Good timing.
yeah. I bought in like the 140s. $1.40, so not bad. And then I bought some Ethereum and Bitcoin. My problem is I'm so well diversified. Like you guys probably can attest to this too. Like it's just when you make more money, you're like a little bit more cautious about like putting it all in one thing. At least for me, like I'm really risk averse. So I'm like, okay, my investing style is still the same way as it was when I was making so much less. So like I'll put like a couple $100 here, a couple $100 here, and I just don't want to put like 10 grand into some stock randomly. It just makes me nervous.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
I love the whole, what is it? Kind of like a proverb of preservation over performance. Like if you can just keep yourself in the crypto market or in the stock market long enough, you're going to get those hits. You know, you're going to get those awesome spikes in your portfolio or whatever. So I love the idea of making sure you're comfortable enough to just be in it for the long haul. You know, like if I was more into crypto back in 2017, like Connor, you know, I wouldn't even be on this live stream. I'm too rich for you. I would never even know any of your people's names. But yeah, so I'm all about like preservation over performance. So I'm right there with you with that. Not taking a risky bet that's going to take you out of the game. You know, it's all about being in the game longer. So that's probably my favorite investment.
Time. What is it? Time in the market, not timing the market, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I know we're at about an hour and 20. So what I was thinking is I'm kind of thinking, what if we all take one question from the chat? We answer that. We all kind of jointly answer questions, and we'll kind of go from each person's chat just to kind of see. What do y'all think about that?
Sounds good to me.
I know Connor's gonna have to shoot out soon here.
Yeah. Why don't we just go through some of them? Yeah, like we don't have to take too long. Just give our opinion on some of the comments.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, go for
Let's
it.
do it. Let me give my people a second.
Well, everyone in my chat wants to buy Happy, and so I said I'm going to buy Happy too, that based off your recommendation, Tyler, and I'm going to let them all have your address if it goes down one freaking point. You know? So
that sounds fair.
My thing about Happy Coin is I look at it as a donation myself. So like when I buy it, I want to make profits off of it. But knowing that a piece of that's going to a charity that fights mental illness and stuff like that, I'm not gonna lie, like the mental illness stuff just hits home with me personally. And so like I look at it like even if Happy Coin itself doesn't perform well, like they've already donated thousands and thousands of dollars, like that's successful to me. You know, so that's kind of like my whole thought process about charity-based tokens. So that's kind of just my idea on it personally. But I support Happy Coin. Sawyer's a fantastic guy.
Do you think anyone with real money is going to put money in that though, because they can't get the tax write-off? Well, I guess it doesn't actually go down in value, you know.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Interesting question. That's a great question. That's a very great question.
Yeah, like that's a good way of thinking about it. I mean, I just like the thing with these charity coins is it's just good to have this because this is new, right? I've not really seen this in the world of crypto before, so it's lovely to have like that sort of aspect coming in, you know, like with these new coins that you can invest in something, you can make sweet cash, and you can like donate to charity. So as long as they can prove that they're actually doing it, I think it's good.
Yeah,
I'm all for
absolutely.
it.
As long as I like the one thing like Happy, they live stream it. That's why I like it, because you can watch it. Because there are those charity coins, and it's evil. I know that, but there's gonna be those people who say, "Oh yeah, look, we'll donate 20% of all of our our liquidity pool to all of these different charities," and they will just take everything and dip. You know, so
totally.
You have to be careful because the majority of these charity-based tokens are just charity-based, right? So there's really a lot of them aren't gonna have any true function. So you could just be buying something just to buy it, and they could just out like that, or say they're giving it to stuff. So if you're going to buy charity-based tokens, in my non-financial advisor opinion, make sure you can see where that money is going, or you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, totally. And then that's another reason why you want to see who's behind the coin, right?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I've heard a lot of them. I know Elongate does fantastic things, Connor. I know I know Happy Coin does fantastic. I've heard Yummy is one that fights like kind of like the starvation and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good ones. I love them. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a live stream where we donate all the money from the stream directly to it. And
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm excited about it.
All right. Well, I've got. Have you guys heard of Catapult?
Mm-mm.
I've not heard of it. I don't know if you're still in the chat. If you're still in the chat, sorry we didn't get to you sooner, but I've not heard of that. I'm sorry, and we can't bring up charts right now. Safe Gem.
No.
Again, we can say the name, right?
I've heard of it.
I've
heard of it. I just haven't.
Safe anything.
I haven't looked at it.
Is
should we do like a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of? We'll just all like vote on.
I don't know if any of you saw my live yesterday, but I was doing ringing the bell when when people were convincing me of coins. I'm like, it's in the list, and then ringing my imaginary bell.
That's funny.
All right. There's my camera. And I'm back.
Okay, so someone from my chat real quick, sorry, it brought up Kilimanjaro, which is like a lottery-based coin.
Yeah.
So I think that's a fun kind of business model, a lottery-based something. I think that there's a lot to be done with the space. I haven't seen it a lot in the space, and I think it's really, really interesting to have a lottery-based something of some sort.
Yeah. I used to hold Kilimanjaro.
I need to watch your video on that there because, Steven, I saw that you had that video on it today. I really think that's interesting because there's that bank, the one that all the big YouTubers had like invested in, and that's how they paid interest, right? I don't know if you guys saw that, but instead of getting an interest rate, you got put in a lottery system. I think like Graham Stephan, Ryan Scribner, like those guys backed it. And you like if you refer other people, you get extra tickets to be put in this lottery, and you win. Like you can go in the app and see, I won $300 today, and then you just don't earn anything for a long time. But that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's like we have things like that. Can't remember what they're called.
What do y'all think about what they said? What do y'all think about those different ones that are kind of like the gambling games, right? Like I made a video about Slam Token the other day, where it's basically y'all ever play Crash? Where it's basically you put your crypto like Bitcoin into it, and it'll basically like it's like a rocket ship.
I've seen it.
And it'll explode.
I saw it online, right?
What do y'all think about like the gambling? Because I think it's fantastic because the people in the space are willing to risk their money. So I'm like, all right, say if I put money into like something, I get burned on it, I sell out and I got $10. I'm gonna just put it into the gamble and I'm gonna see if I can make it back. If I lose it, I lose it. You know what I mean? I think it's cool.
Yeah, as long as you don't think of it as an investment, I think that's it, right? It's not an investment. That's all.
But it's like
the outro win.
Yeah. Like don't refer to these things as investments and you're fine. Like, putting your money, getting a bit of cash and then putting it all on black is not an investment. You might make double your money. It doesn't make it an investment, right?
And one thing, so like, and
if you take half that and throw it into the liquidity pool. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, what some of them do though, and I will say, is they'll use their token. So Slam, for example, has Slam token, and a Slam token is the currency in which you use on the online casino itself. And it keeps it kind of in rotation. And then there's like transaction fees. So like, I think there's definitely a future in the gambling world itself within crypto. Just because like I like doing everything from home personally. So and I don't do any gambling considering I'm a child. But other than that, I think there's gonna be a future for it. And I'm sure
Are you a young MMA fighter?
I turned 13 yesterday, so I got some time to go.
So I've got a question.
He's like someone in CrossFit that just talks about it all the time. Like we get it, we know, we hear you.
We get it. You fight people.
So I've got a question here from the chat. I just want a number from each of you guys, and there are two different cryptos, and I'm going to give you the timeline for your price prediction. And of course, this is not financial advice. This is estimated guesses or educated guesses. Safe Moon in 1 month. This is the first one. Price prediction. Go, Tyler.
Are we talking about like? Because do you want me to do like 0.00000? Like I can do that.
No, just do point. That does make it confusing, doesn't
it? Percentage.
Yeah.
Percentage.
How much percentage up?
gain
or down. Yeah.
in a month.
Yeah.
Wait,
Just say
50?
it with your mouth.
50%. I think we can clear all-time highs, retrace back, pass some of the extensions, and then climb 50 in a month if everything goes right.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think any higher than that, though.
I reckon we'll 100%, but we could
From
come back
here.
again. Like at some point, we'll do that in the next month,
Okay.
You think it will touch 100% in the next month?
and then come back down. But
Okay.
also, like, I mean, a coin like SafeMoon, I can't give you like an actual prediction because that's just I have no idea. Like, I just don't know. It can go anywhere. It can go anywhere, guys.
Steven?
So I have a prediction. I think we're going to be trading around this same spot that we are right now in this last 24 hours throughout the next month. Like, I'm not sure there's any major catalyst events happening. I think there's just lots of slow growth, lots more exchanges going to be jumping on, lots more. They're going to go deeper in the tech, deeper in their integrations, deeper in their partnerships.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that we're going to see pretty much the same price in a month from now. That's what I've been saying all last week too, but obviously that was really wrong. So who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's what's fun about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm guessing just about 20 to 30% higher than it was in a month, a month out. So getting close to where we were at all-time highs, but just like back and forth. Then my other one is Dogecoin tomorrow during SNL. What do you think the price will be? Like right at the beginning, right when SNL starts, so that we can track it, we can see.
I think buy the rumor, sell the news has got to happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's gonna bomb.
The
That's
thing
my
is,
guess.
with Dogecoin, every single time I've said anything about it, I've been wrong, right? Like, there's just like buy the rumor.
Say it's gonna go down.
Yeah, buy the rumor, sell the news has literally never not happened, right? In my experience, I'm like, oh, this time's different, and then it doesn't happen. But Dogecoin has exceeded anything that I ever thought would happen, ever. So, again.
The crazy part is, me too, and I bought Dogecoin. I'm up like 570%. I think that was small. It was a small amount. You know, I'm a conservative. But no, like I thought 50 cents and this thing's gonna tank. But I'm nervous because it seems like when everyone is talking and saying this is gonna go up on this day, it is not going to go up on that day. Like I play that so true to ear. So personally speaking, like if you see me close my position on Doge, don't be surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would have closed it if I was you. I got paper hands. See these hands? They're made of paper. Look, they're flimsy.
I'm gonna say, what are you buying with all that money, Connor? What are you buying over in Dubai? Do you have like a whole stable of Ferraris and leopards?
Just a stable of camels.
I was gonna say camels, but I was like, is that a bad thing to say?
No, there's loads of camels here, man. There's literally desert right there. You know, honestly, my lifestyle, there's been no inflation, right? So, nothing. I got my place here. I go to the local Indian restaurant, which is delicious food. It cost me about $4. I got no lifestyle inflation whatsoever.
Who wants to see the money morons in person? Because if Connor keeps talking about how good Dubai is, I might just have to go.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm totally down with
come.
Dubai.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go. I'm coming to America as well, so.
Facts.
When are you doing that? And where are you going?
August, I'm coming. I'm going to New Jersey in the maybe like the 10th of August. But I plan to travel around a bit.
Nice.
Have you been here
My
before?
birthday's right around then.
Yeah. I've been there a few times.
Okay.
Nice. All right, Steven, what's your guess for Doge?
Oh, I don't know. You know, I think it's like when stocks release earning reports, right? I just think we're too close right now to where it's going to be. I just think everyone that knows about it already knows about it and has already put money in it, you know, thinking about this. So I'm not adding any more.
Yeah.
Are you what's your percent? What's your allocation?
The same or I'm gonna say the same or less.
Okay.
I'm gonna be controversial here. I'm going to say it's gonna dip tomorrow morning. Throughout the day, people are taking profits, thinking they're smart and everything like that. And then it's going to dip low enough that it makes sense to buy back in right when the show's starting, just to ride up the hype in case he does actually mention it, and then it's going to sell off throughout the show.
Do we think he will actually say Dogecoin on Saturday?
I think he will. I think he will.
For sure.
And I don't know if it will matter if he does, because like, who hasn't heard about it at this point? Like, who watching SNL is going to be sitting there like, what's Dogecoin? Let me go buy some. Do you
think that
no one's going to do anything?
I don't know, man. I think maybe I don't know if the kind of person who hasn't heard about it, that watches it on there, might not know how to buy it, right? So it's not going to see. But yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah. Buy the rumor, sell the news.
That's a great point too.
So
yeah.
I know everyone my age has heard of Dogecoin. Like, okay, I was getting ready for my final exam, my last final ever, yesterday, and someone
y'all can't write what you know about Dogecoin.
And we're sitting in there getting ready for the exam. In the middle of the exam, I'm watching this dude, and he looks like he don't know what's going on. Like, he's so lost. He's sweating. He looks at our professor, and all he hears is, "You own any doggy coin?" I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all right, bro, I gotta go. I'm done with this. I turned that exam and I bounced. Dogecoin's everywhere. It's hilarious to me though, just to see the fact that people said we're gonna do this and it's just done it is what makes me laugh so much.
The thing is, that's a statement for these community coins, right? Because people believe in it and they did it, right? Me, super technical at the start. And then you see this coin like Dogecoin and you're like, no way is that going to be worth anything. I got in, I made a profit, I got out, right? And that was it. I was like, yeah, sweet. And then now it's just, what is it, like 60 cents or something now, which is incredible. And it doesn't even have a cap, right? These coins still keep getting created. So it's like, it's what, number 3? Is it number 3 or number 4? But it's
something like that.
Yeah,
like, it's wild. It's wild. So there's just like, the community behind it is, people are holding it.
My honest opinion about why we've been able to see so much of this, and I think Sam can probably attest to this too, because we've seen it happen. When everything happened with Robinhood, when everything happened with Webull Fidelity, where we saw people getting limited on what they could and could not buy, it almost seemed like we saw a really big revolution of people saying, you know what, we're going to band together and we're going to do what we want to do. The next thing you know, like, we see so many of these projects where it's literally just people saying, you know what, if they're going to say we can't do this, well, we'll make something that you can't control and we're going to shoot this thing up to the sky, and I love seeing that because, I don't want to be like the revolutionist who's like trying to go against the grain or everything, but I do love to see the fact that the people still do have control, even in an environment where you look and the retail investor typically doesn't have control. And I love that. I love it. I mean, I love watching it happen.
I got a question for you guys, actually. What was your experience for GameStop and AMC?
30% gain, and I never touched it again.
And you got out?
1,000 in. I went up 300. I got out, and I never touched it again.
Nice. Sam?
I bought one AMC share because someone donated money in a live stream, and I said, whatever people donate, I'll just throw it in, and I'll never touch it. So I hold one share now. We should do that on this stream sometime.
Yeah.
Whatever someone tells us to buy, we just go buy.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. So you guys are making me feel like I'm risky, right? Because I feel like I'm conservative with my investing, but like, nah, not at all.
You got a little bit extra fun money, bro.
Yeah, true. But like, I got in. I bought Nokia. I bought BlackBerry. I bought AMC, and I bought GameStop, and none of them went well apart from AMC. AMC, I got maybe 100%, about 100%. So that made up for the losses in the others because I got into GameStop too late, right? I got into all of them too late. So that was like my lesson again in the stock market because that was sort of this year's, or that was last year, right? Was that last year?
Yeah.
Or was that this year?
That was this year.
All right, like that was this year's first taste at like real hype, right? We're talking like mad gold rush hype, yeah? And I got in on it. I was like, this is it. We're fighting against the people. I got my friends at home who are watching now. They wanted a shout out. We all got in on it, and we got in too late. We chased the hype, right? And then, and I did manage to recuperate my losses. I think I made a small profit, like the same as you, Tyler, around that. But nice. That was my first. That was like, that was the sort of the last nail in the coffin of not chasing hype, right? Like, I'm not chasing it anymore. If we get in early and I'll risk money early on for huge, because it's like, 10 to 1, the risk reward. So it's like, I'll get in early, but I'm not chasing it anymore because like, You know, because that's where we are on the hype coins that started, right? We're there now.
And that was that was the very first taste for me of going against my investment morals, right? My investment morals to say, I watched the GameStop thing unfold, and I was like, these institutions are not going to let this keep going. I was just watching, there's no way. And so if I see a red flag that big, I was like, something's going to happen. They're going to not let us buy it. They're going to force us to sell it. And I literally said that on a stream like 2 hours before Robinhood basically stopped everyone from being able to buy it. But I recognize, like, sometimes in the market, it's not about the fundamentals, non-financial advice. It's not about the fundamentals. It's not about anything. It is simply recognizing the trend and knowing how to manage your risk. You know what I mean? Totally. In the stock market, it's a little bit easier because you can just set easy stop losses. Like, if I see something that'll have a breakout, okay, fine. I'll buy it at the breakout, set a stop loss maybe 5%, 10% less, and just let it go and just see what happens. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just trends. It's just people get so excited about it that it's just going to go up. And if you don't take advantage of it, well, you're missing out.
If you guys ever do like day trades or anything, like what do you, like if it's a day or a swing trade, what's your like, where do you put your take profit and your stop loss?
It depends on why I'm buying it personally, right? So like what I'll do sometimes is say if we see something shoot up a lot, okay, and it falls back down. Well, of course, so I'm going to pull up the Fibonacci retracement. I'm going to expand it out, whatever. And I'm going to look, I'm going to say, okay, where are we going to find support? Say typically with either penny stocks sometimes, but a lot of altcoins will see them establish support at like the 50% retracement. If it hits that 50 and it sits, I'll buy it. I'll just say, let's see what happened. I'll set that stop loss right under that 50%. Like right under it.
Like how much? Like in percent? What's the percent?
5%.
Okay.
Like close. Because I don't play. Like I'm telling you, I'm conservative. Like I'm willing to bet money, but I ain't really willing to lose all that much. I'm like, I'll take a quick like 3-5% losses in a row and then get 100% gain. I'm cool with that, you know. And but it just depends on that. You know what I mean? So like, it depends on what the setup. If the setup says if it goes here to buy here, and if it goes below that, set a stop loss. That's what I'll do. But sometimes, usually, long-term investments, I'm at 20%.
Like, if you drop long term, like I don't have stop losses on my long terms, but like, like the short day trading. I'm just wondering what you guys do because I don't really do much of it, but I try and get a 10% profit. Right, that's my like goal. But
which is fantastic.
Yeah, if I'm like I don't really day trade coins or stocks that I believe in, right? I swing trade them because I'm like, you know, I understand what's going on. I understand like the market, what they're thinking. But normally if I were to get into like a day trade, I'm aiming for 10% and I'm in and out. I don't really care about it. It's more like based on the chart structure, right?
Yeah. Right.
For me, I don't really day trade at all. Part of that's the fact that I have the Patreon, so I tell everyone what I buy and sell. So they're like, I think too many people just hear what I'm buying and then just buy it and have no idea the company behind it or even the technicals behind it. So I don't do that. I do some swing trades, but it's mostly based on when I think people are undervaluing the company, like Topps, like Muds. Topps, the card company, is merging with Muds, a SPAC company, and they're getting into the NFT space. And I saw that under 11, and I thought, okay, Playboy just ran up because Playboy like 5x'd because they're in NFTs. They're actually profitable too, and Topps is too. So it's like, okay, if it does anything like that, it's going to be good. And then it went from 10 to 15. I sold half at 15. Then it went up to 18, and I have a stop loss set at 15 just so that I can get like a 30, 40%. Just in case, you know, I go to sleep or I don't pay attention for a little bit.
See,
and I figured if it drops 20%, there's probably some reason for it. It got close over the last couple of days, but you know, worst thing is I just get out of Topps. Like I'm not super pumped about Topps long term. So
totally,
that makes sense. I mean, like my biggest investments, I don't have stop losses on just because one thing about me that kind of makes me a little hard-headed, but I found success in it is the fact that I'm super confident as an investor. Like if I buy something, I'm very, very confident that it's going to do decent. And so like whenever I see, like if I saw Apple drop 70%, I would just buy more. Like I'm not selling, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to buy more of it and we'll just see what happens. You know what I mean? Or like at this point, I'm getting to that point with Bitcoin or like even Ethereum now. I'm like, even if I see it flash crash, there's so much potential there. Like I'm just going to buy some more. That's why I said I've been sitting on cash a lot more recently, just because I like to take advantage of those, where in the past, I would watch those big dips happen and then not be able to get in, and it would hurt me. Like it would suck so bad, you know?
Yeah,
But
no,
I have a hard time sitting on cash. I just want to put like a grand in, a grand in, a grand in all the time.
Yeah,
I have a hard time for more than like 2 or 3 days because the market keeps on falling. And then crypto keeps on going up. So I'm like, oh, I could buy crypto now and it'll go up, or I could buy stocks now. And they're at a really good price. So it's just this constant battle.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? If you believe in the companies that are going down, doesn't like Tattoo Chef, I got in on that and I still believe in it. It's down loads.
Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's what I've always said to people. Like, where people mess up at is when they simply just don't have a plan. You know, like they just go in blindly and they just hope for the best. I'm like, the likelihood of that working in this market right now, you could see some success. But over the long term, the likelihood of finding success and just blindly firing, it's not really that much, because the moment you see, let's see, what Tesla hasn't had days where it's fallen 10, 15, 20% multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's still recovering, but it's all about why. You know what I mean? But if people get into something not knowing what it is, not having a strategy, not understanding how the price moves, and you go into it, then you see a flash crash of 20%, you sell out because you're like, oh, I don't know why that thing just dropped. I'm out. I'm done. But then it rebounds 50%, and then you feel mad. Then you buy it. Then it falls again. You know, that's where I see so many people, even in my Patreon sometimes, that they'll just be like, oh, Tyler, I saw you post a video about that, so I bought it. I'm like, I literally said in the video, don't buy this. Wait, don't buy that. Please, hold on. Like, and it's a lack of preparation sometimes that I see really hurt people, like really, really hurt people bad. Yeah. And I learned it myself. You know, I don't know if y'all remember when Nikola went public, but that roller coaster.
No, I don't remember that.
Every single movement it made, I bet against it the wrong way and lost like $2,000 in the span of a month.
Yeah, that was wild. But then that it is what it is, right? You didn't get in that. You went into that trade thinking it could either like be the next Tesla or it could be nothing at all. So that's like, you know, you got to keep that in mind.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, and like there's also like this resulting concept, and it was in a book called Thinking in Bets by Annie Duke, which I really love. That book is one of my favorites from this last year or whatever. But that's like resulting, right? Like the result might have not worked out, but you have to look at it. Was your decision-making process solid, right? Like, did you make all the proper decisions with the hand that you were dealt, instead of looking at was the result proper, right? Because, you know, if you made all the right decisions, then probably if you rolled the dice 9 times out of 10, maybe you would have gotten a different result. But that one time out of 10 turned into, you know, a bad result. So therefore you can't equate the decision making for being incorrect.
That's
100%.
like sticking to the plan is so important, right? Because like me, for example, me taking profits in SafeMoon so early on, I took profits so early on, it was a mistake, right? But in the times where I got into these coins that didn't stay up, every one of those times I took profits like clockwork. Every time I hit that point, I'm taking profits. So it saved me in the long run, right? Even though I could have made more in that one play on SafeMoon. So it's like just sticking to that same plan. Like before you get into any of these sort of risky investments, any investment at all, have your plan set and then try and stick to it, right? And don't get like FOMO is the number one reason for losses, in my opinion, right? Because you're FOMOing into things.
Yeah. It's called personal finance for a reason, right? And I've heard it before. Like, what do they say? The stock market and probably crypto market is an expensive place to learn about yourself. That's very true, right?
Yeah.
You don't know how you deal under losing $4,000 in a day until you have money in assets that do that. Like, if you have it in your bank account, you can't even consider it.
Right. All right, guys, that's gonna be where I'm gonna have to end this.
That's right. Yeah. 1 in the morning in Dubai or something, right?
Yeah, close to that.
Hey, when you come to New Jersey, I'm gonna fly up to New York. I don't want to be anywhere close to New Jersey, but I'll fly up to New York and.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'll come too.
Let's do it.
Let's all meet.
Let's meet.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go ahead and wrap this thing up too. I think I'll probably end up jumping maybe into the chat for like 10 minutes and answering a few questions. But no, I think they're excited. So anybody who's in the chat who doesn't know, guys, I think for the most part we're gonna do this once a week.
Yeah. When we can.
As much as possible. I know some of us have crazy schedules. We all have a lot of stuff going on, but as much as possible, we're gonna try to be doing this thing. And it was a good chat. It was a good talk. The doing well. I think the most we got on my end, we're at about 1,400 people in here at once. So
Yeah,
it was good.
Not
It
sure.
was nice.
Sure, yeah, it's been real.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about whether we want to put it on 1 or continue it on 4, because I'm sure some people have it like blowing up on their phone.
Comment on the video once they're on the channels, and just let us know, would you prefer we streamed from one channel or we stuck to our separate channels? Just let us know what you think.
Yeah.
For sure.
And while you're doing that, since you're already scrolling down, feel free to hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't done already. Check out the links, because I'm sure there's tons of ways to make free money on a Friday, so you can pay for some drinks or sodas wherever you do on a Friday night. I think that's great.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Tyler, you want to take us out?
Again, so we're probably be doing this once a week as much as possible. I think we're gonna all do our job in making sure we do message you guys. I'll be posting in the community tab and in the Patreon to let you know what the plans are. Next time we will be on time, I promise. Just a little few technical difficulties, but it's nothing too crazy there. And I appreciated everyone with the super chats. I'm going to try my best to go check out a few of them. And we'll see you all next time with the Money Morons.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Let me figure out how to stop.
See you guys.
Okay.
See ya.